Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Transfer Show. We have a triple threat tonight, so me, Dan, and Sam are going to give you a different angle on each transfer story. And feel free to drop your opinions in the comment section as well. Always interesting to interact with you lot. First off, let me introduce my co-anchormen. Sam, how are you doing today?
I'm all right, mate. All right. We're doing the prep for this, and then already somebody's gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that shows you the state of Manchester United's transfer window at the minute. But interesting to get into these rumours. We'll see what happens.
Add context to that. It was Vieira to Arsenal. Romano's literally just, we was going to cover it, but yeah, he's announced it. So in the bin we go. Even Arsenal doing business. That's how shocking we are.
Yeah.
Honestly. Dan, always nice to have you on the pod, mate. On the show, sorry. I'm still in podcast mode. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Apart from football, I'm doing good.
Yeah. We're getting there closer. Pre-season will be arriving soon. We'll still have no players, so don't worry about it, lads. Now, in regards to the transfer stories, this is a Friday full of fairy tales and disappointment as far as United are concerned. 5 weeks since the Jong thing got announced, guys, and still not one through the door. But we've got a variety of news to bring to you lot. So, yeah, Sam, what have we got first up?
All right, let's start with. I've not heard of this guy before. It's from Ekrem Konur. I don't know why. I've not heard of him.
Relatively credible, to be fair.
Is he credible? Okay, fair enough.
Relatively.
So, Manchester United are favourite to sign Porto's 22-year-old Portugal midfielder, Vitinha. I'm just going to go Vitinha. The interest in the Porto midfielder could be a sign that the club's deviating from the overly used and largely failed all guns blazing transfer strategy of recent years. Red Devils gained inspiration from Liverpool's contrasting fortunes with Jurgen Klopp's recruitment as they entered Ten Hag's first window as manager. So, yeah, it seems like we're going for, if this is to be believed and he is credible, it seems like, we're going for these lesser-known players and scouting players and going, right, we can, our manager can improve these, our manager can sort of push them forward, much like Klopp did when he was in charge. It's like Mane, relatively unknown. Van Dijk was at Southampton. Salah was a flop, arguably, in the Premier League, and he brought him back. And now he's one of the best players on the planet. Andy Robertson for $6 million. So, yeah, they seem like they're sort of turning that way when they're looking at Vitinha. Again, I've not watched much of him. Like I said, I don't watch Portuguese League Nosh. Like, it doesn't, unless they're in the Champions League, I'm probably not going to see them. Or in the Europa League, as United will be next season. So, yeah, the midfield is definitely the priority, it seems, because we've been doing 5 weeks of De Jong and nothing's happened. So maybe we're now looking at other targets. So, yeah, midfield seems to be the priority. Apparently, he has a release clause, but it doesn't say how much it is. Like, from what I've looked at, there's no, like, definitive price, but apparently there is a release clause. But, yeah, what do you guys think? I've not seen much of him, so I can't really comment on him as a player.
Yeah, it's another kind of Portuguese talent that's come off the conveyor belt at Wolves. With many others, you can name literally about 6, 7 Portuguese players that look kind of young in that age bracket and look very talented. 22 years old, midfielder. He's not a DM. He's more of a box-to-box. I think for Porto, he plays in like the left side of a diamond, or if they play a 4-4-2. He'd be one of them kind of old school box-to-box players. Utility kind of guy, jack of all trades, well-rounded, can create, can defend, he's got a great engine, he's intelligent, and likes to play them long balls as well. And remember then what Ozil used to do, the little cute chipped passes? He's very good at that as well. He's like very creative in that aspect. But the one thing I will say about this is I feel like it's the Portuguese press kind of pushing it again.
Because the agents again. And
I haven't seen... it's one of them monitoring situations again. Like maybe he'll be a target if we don't get De Jong, or he's kind of a plan B to fall back on instead of Neves, who's getting priced out of about 70 million. So maybe it's something like that. But I don't see us signing Eriksen on a free, De Jong, and this guy. Like I don't see that happening. So maybe it's just a plan B or a plan C. I'd say that's as far as it goes. So I'd probably give it a 30% rating in terms of chance happening. Dan, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think that we'll be getting this type of player. Even though he may be a good player for the future, but at this moment, I don't think will be in need of this type of player, because if he comes in, then he'll go behind the line with Donny van de Beek in the starting, considering the starting. So I don't think we should be spending around. He should be, I think, available for 30 to 40 million euros. If I'm not wrong, his price is somewhere around 30 to 40. So I don't want us to spend 30 to 40 on a player with to whom we won't be giving him chance to play. So as you mentioned, that he's more of a central midfielder. He's not a proper defensive midfielder, and he's very young as well. So you cannot let a very young player to just be a center of the team, holding that to play that holding midfield job. So I don't think he's needed at this moment, but for future he's a good reference. But now we don't need such type of players.
Yeah,
definitely. It's kind of like, if you're paying 35, 40 million, you'd think, oh, go for someone like Ruben Neves. But then apparently Wolves are slacked. Was it 100 million you said, Nick? It's like 100 million they want for him.
100 million euros, I think it was.
Like out of the fucking minds. Like, just, I was like, oh, 35, 40 million, get Ruben Neves for that. But apparently Wolves want 100 million. Don't know how, but
yeah. Like I've always said, these kind of signings, we should definitely have a look at these sort of rough diamonds around Europe and stuff. But it doesn't make sense if you're already looking at about 3 or 4 different, like, kind of box-to-box players. Like, just, well, whilst we've already got Fred, Donny, and McTominay, who are box-to-box players predominantly. So it doesn't make sense. Like I said, I'll give it a 30% rating, Sam. Percentage out of 100. What do you think?
20.
20%. Yeah. Dan, what do you think?
10%.
10%. So we've got 10, 20, 30. Nice, I like it.
Nick's so optimistic about making a signing. Like, he's just pushing these things up. He's like, just sign somebody.
Yeah. Well, speaking of optimism, this is the opposite, and this is pessimistic. Andreas Pereira set to return to Manchester United from Flamengo. No intention to trigger the buy option for 10.5 million euros. Don't blame him at all. Decision has been made as first called by Casgrande, I think, something like that, Brazilian journalist. United will be open to sell Pereira this summer. Guess who's back again. Pereira's back.
Pre-season Pirlo's back at United.
Guess who's back? Pirlo's back.
Oh, why have we still got this player? Why is he still here? Just get rid of him.
It's like trying to sell a used Nissan Micra for 10 grand. That's what we're trying to do with this player. We're trying to get over 10 million pounds for this player. And there'll be people out there who are interested, definitely, but at a cheap price. Like, if you're going to sell Andreas Pereira, you got to knock off some of his wages, put him on about 50k a week, and then sell him for about 5 million, in my personal opinion. When it comes to his actual playing ability, I've seen more composure from a schizophrenic in Laser Quest. Honestly, like, on the ball, he is absolutely shocking. It's
like a dog chase. Like, you throw a ball for the dog, and the dog chases after it, and then they get there, they have no idea what they're supposed to fucking do with it. And you're like, come, bring it back, and they're just like fucking just losing their mind. Like,
you know what? I just hope the players have had a word with Ten Bag, and they've just said, look, we discussed this on the show the other day, Sam.
Yeah.
He does this every single season. He does this. He comes in, he bangs in a 40-yarder. Everyone's like, oh my God, who's this player? Even the manager's probably like, why are we looking at midfielders? This geezer's banging him left, right, centre, good at set pieces, blah, blah. And then as soon as it comes to the actual main part, the Premier League, whatever it is, the kid absolutely evaporates and he's non-existent. So, with that being said, just sell him, move on, for the love of God. Why do we still have players like this at our club? Just sell him. 100% we want to sell, 10% chance we will sell. That's my verdict.
Just chuck in. Like, if we got, like I said on the last show, you're all chuck in a tenner, we can pay his contract out and get him the fuck gone. Like, because honest to God, this has gone on too long. We've had 3 managers of this guy and he's still here. Just fucking get rid of him. He's done.
Just sell him for the permanent deal. Why we are just sending him out for a loan, and he's just become now like a loan move ambassador.
Exactly.
From last 6 years, he's been going on loan in multiple teams. He has played for Granada, he has played for Valencia, he has played for Lazio, and now Flamengo, and now he will be coming back to Manchester United. just let him go for at least give him for free. At least let him live his life.
Absolutely, Dan.
I don't know if any of you play Football Manager, but sometimes there's a player like you can't sell him. Like nobody will buy the player when you're trying to sell him on Football Manager. So you just release him from your contract. Yeah. I just go look, it's going to cost me however much he's got left of his contract. Just release him and get rid of him. Just be fucking.
They are trying, like I said, it's like trying to sell a Nissan Micra for 10 grand. They are trying the hardest to get a deal, but ultimately you're just going to have to cut the price and take the loss, like you're going to have to do with about 10 other players that we've got in our team. So, lads, give us your percentage that we're going to sell Andreas Pereira. Sam?
90% that he's gone, but I don't know if it's going to be a sale or yet another loan. But he's
100% it's going to be another loan. 100%.
He should not be in the first team squad next season. Like, shouldn't. No. Should not be.
Yeah, I agree. Stan?
I think 110% he'll be going out for loan.
And that's from Mystic Dan as well.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank.
Absolutely. I would say just bring him in to United and just teach him some scouting skills so that wherever he goes, he can at least do a scouting job for us, because he has been to almost every
He's
island.
Been everywhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's been all around Europe.
Brazil.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's a great point. Oh, God. Right. Should we move on to the next one? Dan,
speaking of outs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's move on to the next one. This is about Eric Bailly, and it's from Ignacio Genuardi, whatever you want to call him. So he says, Manchester United are ready to offload Eric Bailly for around 10 to 12 million pounds, with Marseille and Lyon reportedly keen on the Ivorian. So I think for this the situation is similar to Pereira. We are trying to sell him from last, I think, couple of seasons. And you won't imagine that his age he's still 28 years old, but it seems like we are keeping him from very long. But yeah, the potential is there, but always the injury was the concern for him. And I think the last season he has hardly played 4 to 6 games for us. And even though he was sometimes he was available, but was never used because the Maguire
is made of glass.
Yeah,
I was waiting for that. That's what I was waiting for. He's fucking injury prone. Leave him.
Yeah, but whenever he has played, he is fully committed. But if he is like injury less player, then definitely we would have not been going for another center back this season, because we know he's a top player whenever he is playing, and he's also committed. But at the same time, he's going for 10 to 15 million. Is it pound, right? So 10 to 12 pounds is roughly, not a bad deal. So I think it's a good deal, even considering that he has not got enough game time in his bag for other teams to just scout him. So yeah, this
Pereira knows him well.
Yeah, even like you just imagine that other teams will be sending the scouts to watch Bailly, and they'll never get a chance to see him play.
No. It's like turn up at the games. Like, you in all the scouts from all the different teams? Are you here to see Bailly? And you're like, why? He's
all
not
they ever do.
Play.
All they ever do is seem stretch, so they know how good he is at stretching. That's about it. Don't know
imagine scouts will be standing outside the training ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go speak to the physio at Man United at Carrington. You got a better idea of what he's like.
Absolutely, Jesus. They live with each other, and they might as well do. It sounds like the actual journalist name who's reporting it is more made up than the actual story. What was his name? Ignacio Generardi or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
sounds like a character you unlock. Yeah, but with Bailly, I do think he'd be a credible asset. In all seriousness, I think he would be a decent option for set teams. A lot of people were saying the same thing about when Konate moved from Leipzig to Liverpool. He had massive injury issues when he was at Leipzig, and loads of people say it's a risky signing and blah, blah, blah. But most transfer signings are risky anyway. I think if you get him back to La Liga, I know he played for Villarreal, I think it was. You get him to a club similar to that stature, I don't see why he couldn't do a job there. The only thing, the issue with him, I know injuries as well, but it's the consistency. You need a consistency in the centre-back pairing. And because Bailly is out every odd month or whatever it is, you can't get that consistency at all. And you've got constant change and chopping with different partners. And that's the issue we have throughout the full team with our full 11. So, yeah, I hope he does get his move, because as you guys know, I'm a fan of him. I think he's decent.
I love him. I think he's absolutely mental. And I love a United player who's absolutely mental.
He never really got a fair crack at the, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he did, to be honest. So yeah, I'll say 50% we sell him. We'll see what happens, because I don't think it's a definite one, but I think there is potential for him to go somewhere like an AC Milan or a Spanish team.
The issue we have as well, because we recently signed into a long-term deal, and that's what's going to kill us in trying to sell him, because he's going to have extortionate wages. Nobody's going to pay it. And why would he leave? He's going to be like, well, I'm getting paid out the arse here.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to stick my contract out. So he's got no objectivity to leave. So it's just that we've kind of screwed ourselves again with the player, signing him up to a long-term contract, whether not a first team regular. And is what it is. Like, and like I said, I love Eric Bailly. He's absolutely mental. And I love that in a player, but it's just, it's time to move on. He's had his opportunity. So I think it's just time to.
I was just reminded about what Ed Woodward said about the extension, that we are just increasing their value.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to get onto that a little bit later.
I'm probably it's probably up in the air at the minute. It's probably one of the assets they are looking to sell, but whether it goes through or not is 50-50 in it.
As we know, Dan, we're notoriously bad at selling players, aren't we? So, but given that, taking that into consideration, what percentage are you giving for the transfer? Excuse me, Dan. Percentage on the transfer?
I think he will be pushing to go out. I think it may be somewhere around 70%. He'll be leaving.
Okay, interesting. Sam, do you want to lead into the next article?
Yeah, this is a guy that I remember. Who was on their radar? Was it Chelsea or something back in the day? I remember them talking about it.
There seems to be a link to all French players, Chelsea.
But yeah, United are reportedly set for competition in the pursuit of AS Monaco centre-back Benoit Badiashile this summer. Is from the Keep. According to reports, Manchester United are keeping a close eye on the situation of the AS Monaco defender. 21-year-old French defender is impressed for Monaco in the second half season. Was also quoted by Newcastle in January. I don't remember that. Oh, okay. Yeah. They're in the market for a new central defensive signing. Obviously, we just talked about Eric Bailly leaving. Harry Maguire's form's in the toilet. Varane is injury prone. So that leaves you with Phil Jones and Lindelof as your fit centre-back pairing. So they're definitely in need of a centre-back and multiple options. They've entered the transfer market with adding a centre-back. Badiashile has emerged as an option. He's made 119 appearances in Ligue 1 since debuting for the first team in 2018-19. This is the problem though. He had a hamstring injury that kept him out for the 21-22 season, like half of it. But still managed to impress after gaining fitness in the second half. He's only got a year left on his contract. So could be a bargain pickup, could be something that United could look at and not cost us too much money. Because he's only got a year left, they're not going to be asking for a shit ton of money. As we mentioned, they're very attentive to his situation, but still some way from making an official move. The player himself is not eager to force away a move, as the manager, Philippe Clement, has shown confidence in his abilities. Because obviously we've gone quiet on the Timber deal recently. Like, we've heard nothing completely, and then there's like rumours coming out that he wants to stay at Ajax anyway for another year. So obviously United are looking at other options. Pau Torres has been brought up, so maybe this is like another sort of option they've sort of scouted and looked at. But I don't think there's much in it. I think the way United operate, we've got a list of players and they've been scouted and considered tabs on, looking at all the usual journalist terms. I think that's probably what's happened. He's on a list, but I don't think anything's happened. I doubt anything probably will happen unless Eric Ten Hag suddenly goes, no, that's the defender I want.
Yeah. So,
for me, probably about 20%, 2 out of 10, maybe. I don't see much in it, but I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I probably agree, to be fair. He's a decent player, but when I watch him, he has like similar issues to what Maguire does, not in terms of pace, but like defensive positioning and adjusting his body at times. He's a little bit stiff, if you know what I mean. Like, he is quick as a player. I think he's about 6'4", so he's great in the air. Yeah, good on the ball, relatively quick. But when you get fast turnovers in the Premier League and counter attacks, which where it happens all the time with us, I don't think he's that kind of guy to, you know what I mean? Whereas you look at someone like Timber, he's a lot more mobile and can play in like a number of positions. Badiashile's very one-dimensional in my personal opinion, unless it's ball playing and speed. Like, he's decent at that. So yeah, I feel like, as you mentioned, then Newcastle in for him, I feel like that would be a better fit. And I think he's just a level below what we need. He's not proven at the top yet. Like,
well, they're going for an option. I've been telling everybody they're going for Botman, aren't they? And I think that'd be an upgrade on what we currently have. And they're going for him. So it seems like even Newcastle are no longer interested in. They're going for a better player in Botman.
Yeah, I think that kind of level would be really good for Newcastle as they're trying to push towards them European kind of positions. But for us, I feel like we need that step above, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'll give this 10% chance of happening. I haven't heard him mentioned by any of the big kind of journalists, but I know under Ole we was linked with him quite heavily. So that's why
L'Équipe's quite
they're okay.
Relative,
Yeah. What about yourself, Dan? Badishiel.
I think if we are replacing him with some of our backup center backs, then this looks more reasonable. But at this moment, as you have seen, that his injury record is very bad. Last season he was injured for almost 10-15 games, more than that, maybe more than that. But end of the season, I think continuously he has played more than 10 plus games. So it's like more 50-50 type of thing, where you are still cannot still say that he's more like injury prone player or maybe like consistent player, because if he's an injury prone, then he might have not been able to play like 2 to 3 months continuously on high levels. So I think he can be a good backup center back, and he is also left footed, so can be an advantage there for us. And I think he is also captain material, because he is the captain of under 21 team. He has been captain for under 21 team. So we need that mentality of players who have this captainship skills. Maybe not a particular captain, but the skills, that motivation that they can provide to the other team members. So, but yeah, at the same time, we are in search of a starter who can directly go into the top 11, the starting 11. So, but still, I don't think so. He'll be going straight into the team ahead of Maguire or Lindelof. So I think that we should not be doing this deal. So I think it will be like, I'm fully sure that he won't be coming to United. So it's like 0%.
So 0%. Wow, I think that's our first 0% we've had on this show. So interesting.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one, it's about Christian Eriksen. So it's from Telegraph Dakar. He says that Manchester United have been an offer to Christian Eriksen. First, Newcastle also interested. Brentford remain keen to extend his stay. Eriksen says he's in no rush to decide his future and will carefully weigh up his next move. United's priority remains Frankie de Jong. So I think he has said that he's in no rush to decide his future, but we are in rush to get a center midfielder or midfielder. So at the same time, the player is good, but I personally think that we need to change this mentality of buying players who have crossed their prime level, or like thinking like he still has got a couple of years more. So whenever we go for a player, we say that he still has got a couple of years to play. And I personally feel that we should move on from this type of thinking and buy a player who can give you more than 5 to 6 years, rather than depending on a player who can give you a couple of years. Because in 2 years, you know how we deal with the transfers. So you know that after 2 years, you again will be searching for another midfielder, and you know that you'll spend a couple of years in getting one more center midfielder. So I think, but it looks more like a 50-50 for me, like 50%. I think it may happen. But yeah, if Spurs is coming in, so I think he'll be choosing Spurs over us, because they are also in Champions League.
Yeah, you made a lot of points there that I completely agree with. With Eriksen, he's a solid player, in my personal opinion. I think he's done well for Brentford since he's kind of, ever since that tragedy that happened. He's done really, really well, and it looked good even against us. Even though we beat him, he looked relatively decent. I don't think he'd be a guaranteed starter, but could still be as effective in, a number of roles, whether it's Europa League, Cup game, mixing in with the midfield, dropping in for Bruno or dropping in for De Jong if we sign him. Like, he could play multiple roles. He even played out on the right for Tottenham for like a sustained period. So versatile again, which, is always a bonus. I feel like him as a player, though, would want decent game time and would want to feel loved. I don't think he'd want to be second fiddle to Bruno Fernandes. I don't think he'd want to be on the bench and playing the odd minutes here and there. So I think game time is very specific for this deal, and I think that's why he's keeping his options open. He's worked with Conte before at Inter Milan, and obviously Conte being the Spurs manager now, and they're wrapping up business like that, which we're completely not doing. I can see him going Spurs as well, to be honest. I think he'd be a great signing for them, along with the other signings that they've already made. I'm more than happy to get a player of that quality on a free. Obviously, I wouldn't want to pay a fee for him. So getting him on a free, you give him a relatively decent wages. You do a year contract plus another year. I wouldn't mind that at all. You know what, though? I'm actually surprised that Barcelona aren't looking at him, because I just think, right, the amount of loans they're doing at the moment, and you've got the situation with De Jong. If De Jong was to go, they could sell De Jong for 70 million and bring in Eriksen, who, in my opinion, is he as good as De Jong? Probably not, but he's not far off at all.
Do they not have the same health regulations that Serie A have with the pacemaker?
Yeah, you might be right there. I'm not entirely sure.
That's maybe why nobody else has gone in for him, because
and that's why issue. It's a Premier League thing. That's why it's been linked with Premier League clubs, maybe. Yeah, you might be spot on there, Sam. So yeah, again, Dan, it's like you said, it's up in the air, 50% for me. I'm not sure what you think, Sam.
Yeah, I think we should do it. I think it's a great option. Like you said, back up for Bruno, backup play on the right, and play in the midfield. I think we just need the amount of midfielders we've lost and players we've lost out of contracts. We need numbers, like we need players in. He used to play for Ajax, so he's very technical, great pass for the ball. I think that would work well under Ten Hag. I think he likes that sort of player, and that's the sort of player he wants to recruit, clearly by his, like the names that have been mentioned, De Jong, Timber, Anthony, that kind of stuff. I think he'd be a great option. Like you said, free. He's probably not going to ask for a ridiculous amount of wages. I don't think he's that sort of player. I don't think he'll be asking for like 300-400 grand a week. I think it's low risk. Like you said, offer him a year contract with an option. I think that's the thing. The only thing that does worry me is the heart issue, because we saw what happened to Fabrice Muamba, like tragically. Luckily, he survived, thankfully, but like, it's a worrying thing, and that the scene at the Euros is fucking, it's like haunted in my brain. Like seeing awful, that, it's just horrific. So I don't want him to risk that, especially at Manchester United. Like, it'll just taint. Great. I hope he's fit, and I hope that if all the doctors saying he can play, then I kind of have to trust in them. But heart issues are very, very worrying. But yeah, I think he's a great option. I think we should do it. In terms of when it happened, I think you're both right, 50-50. When he was talking about Spurs and stuff, I don't think he'll get in the first team at Spurs either, because look at the players they're signing currently. They've done Kulusevski, they've done Bentancur, the Bissouma, who am I missing? Somebody else as well.
They're looking at Spence from Nottingham Forest. And Højbjerg in the midfield. So, like,
does he play week in, week out there? I don't think he does. And yeah, they have Champions League football, but I don't know. Maybe, like I said, it's 50-50. There's plus and minuses on both sides, I think. I think that's why he's taking his time to weigh up his options and be like, right.
Can I just pick you up on a thing there, Sam? Sorry to interrupt you, but you made a good point there, because I didn't think about it systematically, how Conte sets up when he sets up with the back five or back three, whatever it is. And you have your two midfielders who are dogged, like they have Højbjerg and Bentancur. Where does Eriksen fit in that system? Obviously,
he's just signed Bissouma as well, so that's another option. So.
Well, it'd have to be in one of the attacking positions, and if you look at that front three at Spurs,
it's not getting in there.
No chance. Kulusevski, Son, and Kane is unreal, as good as anyone in my personal opinion. So yeah, you made a good point there. I didn't think about that. I just thought worked with Conte before. Conte's at Spurs, so yeah. But we're all saying 50% chance, yeah.
Okay, I like it. I think it's an easy deal to do.
Yeah,
and I think United should just do it now, just get it done, because it like we said last week, he'll appease the fans for a little bit. It's like we've got somebody in the door. His numbers, he's a very good player.
Yes.
What was that? One of our worst things last season was passing. Like we were horrendous.
And set pieces, by the way.
And set pieces. Yeah. We were horrendous passes of the ball, and this guy automatically upgrades that. He's like one of the best passers of the ball. So
absolutely,
get it done.
Yeah.
It's me, isn't it? Because we had to remove that player.
Yes,
I think we've all seen this everywhere. I think we put it up on our Instagram page as well. Fabrizio Romano, Sky Sports, everybody's reporting it. Nottingham Forest are close to agreeing a deal with Man United for the signing of keeper Dan Henderson. The deal is a loan, which is annoying, but with an option to buy. The option price, I believe, to be around 20 million. Man United expect to pay a portion of Henderson's wages next season. I'm just going to get the Fabrizio quote up just so I can read that out as well. Open talks to sign him for on loan options. Negotiations ongoing. Nottingham Forest want the player, and Newcastle was also a possibility at one point. Yeah. Very good chances to happen. Sources say really confident that Man United would accept buy option clause for 20 million. It's kind of an annoying transfer for me because I feel like Dean Henderson is one of our only sellable assets that we can get good money for, 30, 40 million. Obviously, the option to buy is 20 million, which is kind of annoying. I thought we would get a little more for him, but obviously we can't sell players worth a shit. Option to buy as well is kind of irritating. Like, I feel like it should have been like an obligation. It's like you go on loan and then you go and you buy him. It kind of stinks of United sodding up a deal yet again, especially for a sellable asset such as Dean Henderson.
Reoccurring theme in it, Sam.
Just players going on loan all the time and never selling them. What was the last player we sold for profit? Dan James. Yeah, that was the last one. It's very irritating to read, but I suppose it's good news for Dean Henderson because he wants to play for England. Yeah, he wants to try and take that number one shirt away from Pickford, and the only way he can do that is by playing regular football, and he's not going to get it in Manchester United. So it's a good move for him. Not a great move for Manchester United, but it seems like it's going well. So I'd say like 75% chance of probably happening at this point.
Interesting. Great move for Middlesbrough, by the way. I think it's if they manage to land
Forest.
Nottingham Forest. I don't know why I said Middlesbrough. Great move for Nottingham Forest. I think that'd be a really good signing as a keeper because I think he's very good. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. And if you can get him for £20 million, I'm surprised other clubs aren't jumping in for that, to be completely honest. But again, it always comes back to why do we always loan players out and never, ever get money for them, right? So I was looking before, I was thinking, right, what players have we loaned out? So Martial, we loaned out. Donny van der Beek.
That Martial went well, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly, to Sevilla. Donny van der Beek. And we pay the wages as well, by the way, whilst they're out on most of them. We had Martial, Donny, Henderson, when he went obviously to Sheffield, Pereira, who we've just spoken about, Twanzebe, and we loaned Dalot as well to AC Milan. That's easily over £100 million in transfer.
Ahmad as well.
Yeah, but the reason why I didn't mention like Palestri and Ahmad is because they're young players, so there's a purpose to it in a sense where they can just develop. Do you know what I mean? So, but the other guys you're looking at, they're kind of stinking out the place a bit. People like Pereira, Henderson, because we know De Gea's, first team. Martial, like massive wages, and we're loaning him out to Sevilla. He absolutely flopped at Sevilla, and then he's back here. We're paying 200 grand for him. But the players individually, collectively, I should have said, they drive up to about £100 million in sales if we were, an efficient club.
We tried to loan Phil Jones as well. Yeah, we couldn't even do that.
Exactly. And then you're saving nearly £500,000 a week on wages on top of that. So look, I think he's good enough to be sold. We shouldn't have to loan him out and pay his wages. It's absolutely ridiculous. We should at least be recuperating like 30 million for him because he's good enough. I genuinely believe that. This is what happens when you have a clown like Ed Woodward giving out silly contracts to try retain someone's value. And it does the complete opposite because the wages that they're on, no one is going to pay them wages. No one at all. No one in the right mind. Who's going to pay Phil Jones right now? Phil Jones with us is on about 100 and something K a week. Yeah, 125K a week. Who the fuck is going to pay? With all due respect to Phil Jones, I'm sorry, right? But no one is going to pay them wages. No one. This is why we have such a big issue selling players. No one's going to pay Martial 200K, judging off what he's just done at Sevilla. But you struggle to find someone to pay 100K a week for him, plus a transfer fee on top of that. Yep. So, any team with half a brain cell would not pay the wages we do. And that's just highlights our incompetence throughout the full team, throughout the full board, should I say. So, in terms of it happening, I think 90% chance Henderson will go, whether it's on loan or for a sale. I'm not entirely sure. But, what we're thinking, Dan, on Dean Henderson?
Yeah, I think coming to Dean Henderson, we again touch upon the problem that we are having in this club, and we need to change this mentality and the theory of loaning players out. Loaning should be like only for the young players so that you have them in your future plans and give them some game time, some exposure to the high level, and then when they come back, you just use them in your first team. But it is so much opposite in our in our case, where we send out players. It's like what we are doing is like we are just pushing the headache for another season, because we are just pushing them away from a couple of seasons. But Henderson, in case of Henderson, if he's going out on loan, I'll be very like disappointed with this again, because again next season he'll be coming back and we have another headache. It's not like De Gea is close to his end of his career, but I think he still can give us 3 to 4 years. And but it, as you mentioned, that it will be an advantage for the player as well as to the club Nottingham. But at the same time, if he is going to Nottingham in a hope that he may get chance to play in World Cup, I don't think so. It will be possible in when playing for Nottingham, because you have other English players who are playing in other big teams. So it will be very tough for him. But yeah,
sorry to interrupt, Dan. I was trying to pick on David De Gea as well. Like, we can't shift him either. Like, even if we wanted to play Dean Henderson, we can't sell David De Gea because of his wages. What is he on, like 300k a week or something ridiculous?
375k a week.
375,000 a week. So we can't sell him. It's like the Harry Maguire problem. Harry Maguire, £80 million. We have to play him because otherwise the Glazers look like twats because they paid 80 million for a player that is shit. Yeah. It's the same with David De Gea. You can't bench a player you're paying 375k a week for.
Criminal,
and you're not going to be able to sell him either. So Dean Henderson's kind of stuck, and then we're just being ridiculously stupid by loaning him instead of selling him, which then could help to pay for De Gea's wage, get some money in, and then help. Like, it's all wrong. All of it's wrong.
And we are also unlucky that no other big teams or the level of Henderson, nobody wants a goalkeeper. And goalkeeper is a bit tricky one, because goalkeeper is one of the position in which the movement is very less. So in every team, the goalkeeper is the last one he's the goalkeeper is the one who plays more years in any club. So it's being to be a tough one. But yeah, if you can sell him for 10 to 15 or at least 15 to 20, somewhere around 20, it should be a good deal. But I don't think at this moment any club wants a goalkeeper of that level.
Yeah. What do you say? What percentage do you give on it, Dan, the chance of it happening?
I think, as you also mentioned, that he'll be going out as he wants to play World Cup. So probably 90 to 100% he'll be going out. But I don't think it will be Nottingham Forest. But yeah, some other thing.
I think if I'm a team and I'm looking at Henderson, I would happily pay 20 mil for him. Happily.
Yeah.
Because he's a decent level keeper.
He's young as well. He's not all like, what is he, 23?
20, I think it's 24, 25, something 24. Like that.
So goalkeeper, that's young. Like, goalkeepers can play to 35, 36, 37. So you get 10 years.
It's longevity in it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, considering Premier League also, he will go straight into the first team for at least 13 to 14 teams in Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. 100%. So, yeah. Let's move on, lads. And this is back to a defender, and this is coming from Mike Verwise, I'm not entirely sure. Relatively good when it comes to Ajax news, and he said Timber has determined that it's too much of a risk to move to Old Trafford at this point in time, and he's reminded to stay at Ajax. Dear me.
Oh God.
Dear me. I don't know if you remember, Sam. I said this on the show the other day. It's gone too quiet on Timber at the minute, and genuine outlets around Ajax are starting to report more and more that it's looking like it's in his favour. Well, it's in the club's favour for him to stay. So it's can
you blame him? Honestly, would you blame can you blame him, like the state of our club? Why would you blame him with like going nah, I don't fancy it?
This is what I mean. We're kind of sympathising or improvising, whatever it is, with these players because we know, because if we was in their situation, like De Jong now, which we're going to touch on in the next story, I know, but if you're at Barcelona, why would you leave Barcelona to go to United? Like we just know it's we kind of have to throw money in our name and the fact that it's a new project at these players.
The only reason players are going to come to Manchester United, there's two reasons. One, they're a Man United fan. Like it doesn't. If you're it doesn't matter if you're any club. If you're a massive Man United fan, you're going to come to United. And then the only other one is if it's a step up. So you'd have to be at a club lower than Man United, Barca, Real Madrid. You'd have to be at a lower club, and it'd be a step up for you to like go on to thing. They're the only ways that they're coming to United at this point. If you're at Ajax, you're playing in Champions League, you just won the Eredivisie, you're going to compete for trophies, you're going to Ajax always do well. Why would you come to Man United when it's in such an absolute shitstorm in a minute? Like, you're not going to do it.
Very young as well. Like, so he's got he could stay another year at Ajax, you know, continue his development, and then
his value will just go up as well. His value is going to go up. So
well, given that, you know, I know things like injuries can happen in games and stuff, but, you know, given everything goes right, he's on that right trajectory to kind of, do you know what I mean? He's touted as a very good centre back.
Trust United with next season, Bayern Munich come in and buy him.
Yeah. Now,
I'm calling it now.
Just to put a bit of perspective around it, that's not to say United can't just turn around now and say, right, we'll give you, you know, X amount of game time and we'll offer you higher wages, because United could easily do that and just say, right, well, Ajax are offering you the same as us to stay for another year. We'll just offer more. So it's not, I'm still kind of optimistic in that sense, but it is a risk for him coming. I know Louis van Gaal came out recently with some quotes and said, you know, if he wants to be one of the main centre backs at Holland, then he needs regular game time. I don't know if we're offering that in the brief when we're talking to his agents or whatever. I'm not entirely sure.
Who's playing over Timber at this point?
I know. From our perspective, we would say that. But you look at the manager who he's got to deal with. He's got Maguire, Lindelof, Varane, Bailly, and then you bring Timber into the mix as well. That's 5 centre-backs who are supposed to be first teamers. What do you do when it comes to that? You've got an £80 million asset who we were just speaking about them, Maguire, who's on 200 grand a week, and he's the captain, by the way. You know what I mean? So it's easy to, I don't think they'll be going into the deal now and saying you're definitely going to be a centre back, you're definitely going to be the first teamer alongside Varane. I don't think, I might be way off on that, but in my personal opinion, I don't think they're doing that. I think they're doing like, you'll have decent amount of game time and we'll see how you develop, and then you'll eventually become a first teamer. I think that's how they're kind of going about it, but who knows? In terms of what I think, I would say, I'd say it's probably dropped down to about 40% now. It's gone really quiet. At the start of June, it was kind of like bumping up, and it was like, oh my God, it's getting closer and closer, and then it's just gone dead. And loads of outlets now are like, I'm not entirely sure, doesn't look great. So yeah, I'll say 40%.
Yeah, I'll go with 30 probably, because like you said, I've heard nothing. I'd say be more negative, but the pull of Ten Hag and the pull of that, I think that adds a little weight to the story. So I'd give it 30% to be generous.
Yeah, initially at the beginning of the transfer window, when we were linked to him, so even I thought that he is going to be our first signing, and that was a proper signing we needed, and a solid signing. We have seen that the type of player what he is, and also we thought that Ten Hag connection was a bit strong there also, so it added into the positiveness. But at the same time, if I'm a player, a good centre back, and I want to play more, and also World Cup is also coming, is down the line, so I'll be thinking like, and also if you see that Harry Maguire on the team, and you know that even whatever he does, he'll still be starting, so I will not get the chance to play there. So I think as time passed by, he might have realized all these things, that because the gap was more from the first time when he was linked and now, so he might have changed. So many people might have advised him against this move, so I think he might have changed his mind. If World Cup would have not been there, I think we might have got a bit of chance to get him.
Yeah,
but definitely. At this moment, as you have mentioned, that it has gone really quiet, so I think it will not happen, but still 25%.
25. I know Van Gaal was a little bit, I think he's been a little bit salty. Like he's trying to sway him away from Manchester United, but that's probably because he's worked under the ownership before. He knows the regime. He knows, how we function as a club. So maybe he's advising him probably in the correct way. We've obviously got bias because we're United fans, but we are run like a shithouse. So yeah, I agree with you. It's very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, moving on to the next one and last for the day. It's about Frankie de Jong. It's from Tom Colomos for Mail Online. So he said, actually, Frankie de Jong has said, you're always flattered when teams show interest in you as a player, but I am at the biggest club in the world at the moment. So I don't think he might have said this when he might have thought about saying this when Barcelona said that we don't need you. But now I think the things might have changed, and Barca might have been able to manage that financial dip in their club. And that was our only say when we thought that we might get a chance to get him. But yeah, personally, if deep down in my heart, I wanted, like, if I was thinking like if a player doesn't want to come to our club, then why we are going behind him? So we need players who wants to come play for our club. So I was always against this deal, even though I might have not said it openly, because I still rate as a commitment level, and considering the commitment level, I still rate Donny van de Beek ahead of Frankie de Jong. So even though maybe de Jong may be a good player, better player than Donny van de Beek, but his commitment level to the club, particularly to the club, he wants to play for the club, Donny van de Beek. So I would rate in this particular aspect, I would still want Donny van de Beek to come back and be a regular starter for our club.
He'd be a mercenary, innit? He's a mercenary, and then we don't need mercenaries at the club. Like we've done this, we've done Angel Di Maria, we've done Paul Pogba. Like we don't need people at the club. We don't want to be an away fit because A, they didn't have another option, and B, for a paycheck. Like there's not better options, but there's options out there that make more sense and would fit into the team better and make us a better team than Frankie de Jong. And it's become a saga, hasn't it, at this point? Like it has. Like this has got all the hallmarks of Jadon Sancho all over again. Like this is going to be something that could end up just going season after season. Then it's not looking good.
No, and I like the attitude of Donny van de Beek, because if you have seen that he is a player of 23 or 22 when he came to our club, and at that point a player is desiring for a regular football, and he has the ability, also high potential, but still he was not playing regular football. And also when you see that you have players like Fred and McTominay and you feel that you are better than them and still not getting the chance, and still you keep quiet in the club, not raising any issue for that. I think the only thing we saw that when he threw his chewing gum
and off Mike Feeling's bald head just went boom. But I don't blame him.
That was the only moment. So I think his attitude, I like his attitude. So we need that type of player. So if with not having so much game time, his attitude is such like that. If you just imagine if he gets the game time, and how supportive he will be for the team.
Yeah, I love the point you make there, Dan, about the commitment, because I feel the exact same way. For me, sometimes in football, it's more than just talent. You need commitment, effort, loyalty. Otherwise, every transfer for a decent player would work out, right? That's that's how it would go. It always comes back to the narrative of having a player who wanted. Well, he wants to be here, and we want him. Like it needs to be a mutual kind of thing. It's not just like kind of staying with your wife when, you know, she's staying there just because you've been pushed out or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? You should just stay with someone for the sake of it. And we should just go get him because he's being pushed out by Barcelona. That's the only reason why he'd be joining. If Barcelona weren't in the financial situation, there wouldn't be a cat and hell's chance we will get de Jong. We don't have the right to go for a player like that, in my personal opinion. But the season that we've just had, like Frankie de Jong is a world-class player. And he is levels above Fred and McTominay. And when I say levels, I mean about 10 levels above him. That's how good he is. So if we manage to land him, then great. It's good. But I am still skeptical on this transfer. 100% I'm still skeptical because I don't trust it. We've seen it happen before, even when we signed Di Maria. I think his house got robbed or something whilst he was over here, so that unsettled him a little bit more. But
his wife was slagging Manchester off from day dot, though, weren't she? She was unhappy. So, and then when your family is not happy about being there, it's going to affect your performance, isn't it? It's going to affect how you play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we paid 60 million for him at the time. Didn't necessarily want to come. He was kind of a Galactico, got a little bit pushed out of Madrid.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he was a quality player. He's very
fantastic
good. In terms of his assist record in the Champions League, is up there with some of the best. Yeah. Like Di Maria is a very, very good player, but look what happened with him. Martial, touted to be the next, Thierry Henry, came in. He's had a good, one good season for us, and look what happened. Look what's happened with him. He didn't necessarily want to come. He came because the wages were like, boom, 200k. Okay, I'll take that, 100%. So, yeah, look, I know Ten Hag wants him as kind of like the main piece of the puzzle and absolutely loves the player and wants to build a squad around him. But I still have my suspicions, even if the transfer goes through. So I'll say I'll knock it down. I was 70% positive, but now I'll say 60% chance we sign him unless Barcelona come out with some kind of loan to save the financial skin.
Well, there's some investor is reportedly putting money in, is it, for a portion of the club? Even it's a fan-owned club, but it's like 400, 500 million or something like that to buy a portion of the club. I've heard. I don't know if it's actually happening, but
yeah.
Absolutely. Personally, I think we need to move from this mentality where the players are keeping us on hold and using us as a backup. So when you know that the player is using as a backup, in case of Eriksen also, he's saying that he's still wanting to think about this. And then De Jong, you have seen that he's taking so much time to decide upon that. So
it's not full commitment there, is it, Dan? Like, it's not like the full thing. Like, I want to play there. I want to fight for the team. I want to do this. Like, you need that, man. 100%. What did we say percentage-wise? I know I said 60. What did you say, Sam?
I'd say about 40% at this point, because it just seems to not be going well at this point. That it seems to be going down, down, and down, and down.
You think Barca will pull something out the sleeve? I know you've mentioned then that.
You've seen what they're doing. They're doing, like we said last week, they're doing 5-a-sides on the pitch. They're buying players that they can't register, and somehow still. I don't understand their finance model. I don't understand how it works, but they're still operating, so they're going to do something.
Xavi's pushing for Aspilicueta as well from Chelsea.
How are they going to register him? How are they going to fucking?
I don't know. They're getting like this stack of players, 8 players, and they're like, right, just wait there. We will get the money and sort it. Just, don't worry about it. And then all these players are like, I'm not sure.
Like Kessie's waiting. He's not been registered. Christensen can't be registered.
Yeah. They've only just managed to register Sergio Roberto's contract. He was waiting for that for time, and they've only just managed to.
They've just put a new contract for, is it Pedri? They've just got a new contract. He's got like a billion pound buyout.
Gavi as well, one of the players, the Spanish midfielders. They've just given him a new contract.
I think Lewandowski is also on the line.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. How are they doing this? How are they doing it? I don't get it.
It's either going to go one way or the other, right? Just to end it on this Frankie de Jong thing. They're going to get some kind of, like you said then, some guy jumping in, having a part of the club, or some creditor or something along the lines who gives them about 700, 800 million, gets them out of shit, and then they can sign on the players that they want. So that's option number one, right? The second option is they need to make about 700, 800 million by the end of June, which a lot of, Spanish press are reporting. And they're like, shit, what do we do? And that's when we kind of come in and like, right, De Jong, 60, 70 million, boom. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, again, it could get announced tomorrow. It could get announced today or over the weekend. We just don't know at the moment. United fans are in the mud. We don't have a clue what's going on with any transfers. Literally, with any of them, not just De Jong. It's a reoccurring theme throughout the full thing. So yeah, that is the transfer roundup complete, guys. We hope we have fulfilled your transfer fix, even though some of the stories were relatively depressing in regards to Pereira and Bailly and stuff.
We didn't have any one positive news today.
No.
Yeah, well, it depends how you look at it, but yeah, a lot of them are negative, unfortunately. But that's reality of United, guys. That's the way it is. We report the news. And we're just giving you what the journalists are saying.
When you run by jackasses, this is what happens.
Yeah, exactly. This is all an after effects of Ed Woodward, by the way. All the shitty contracts he's given out. So blame that cunt for that. Anyway, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this video. Click the button on the right-hand side and click the notification bell as well so you don't miss any kind of shows. Pushing for 200 subs. Make sure you hit us on socials as well, and make sure you have a great weekend. Football will be back soon with pre-season, so we'll be here to cover absolutely everything that's going on surrounding Manchester United. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me, lads, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.